Hey guys, it's Rachel from The Little Reading Lamb, and today I have my top 10 books of 2016 list. I really love making these lists, and I really love watching others, so if you have any others that you know of, or have you made a list, definitely let me know in the comments, and I'd love to go check that out because I get a lot of books I want to pick up, like I write down a lot of the titles because these are people's favorites. And I know, like, if you've watched my videos, I am a pretty easy critic on books. I'm really good, I feel like, at picking books out that I will enjoy, but also at the same time, I'm not really a harsh critic. So a lot of the books, like, I rate a lot of the books pretty high scores. So when it comes down to my favorites are the ones I've rated high usually, and that are ones that have just stuck with me throughout the year. I keep thinking back on them, they're very memorable, and that kind of thing. Also, with my top 10 list, if you watch any of my previous lists, I have a conflicted award, which is at the end, and it's kind of like something like this book's my favorite, but it conflicts me because of something else. And the confliction changes with each year in each book. Also, just a side note, all these books, I'll try to remember to link the reviews. I have reviews on all of them up on my channel. So if you're interested in anyone in specific, well, scratch that. There's one book that I don't have a review on, but you will see why when I get to that. And yes, let's get started. So number 10, I actually combined 3 different books, which I know is kind of a cheat, but I had way too many books that are my favorite. Kind of what I did was look at all the books I read and took all my favorites and spread them out, and then I selected from there. But I picked these ones together because I read them for a class. So I was last year in my 3rd year at university, and I took a contemporary Canadian fiction class, and we read all these Canadian, like, I guess, I wouldn't say they're classics, but they're really highly, not rated, but I don't know. They're very well known. That's what I was going to say. Very well known classic kind of Canadian books, but not like classics in the historical sense. And being Canadian, I was really interested in this class because I haven't read a lot of Canadian fiction, and these are 3 books from the syllabus that really stood out, and I had them on my shelf. I have a few other ones from some of my classes on my shelves, but I usually only keep the ones on my shelves that were from classes that were books I enjoyed from the classes. I don't necessarily have the whole syllabus, but from this class I have most of the books, but these are the 3 that really stood out to me. So the first is Hetty Dorval by Ethel Wilson. I'm actually going to show you guys this one. It's a very thin one, and I know a lot of people going into the new year have different reading challenges, and some people have challenges like to read like authors that aren't from where they live. So if you live, like I live in Canada, so I'd read authors from outside of Canada. So if you have any of those, or like international, if you live in a different country, I definitely suggest some of these Canadian books because they're really good. And this one's really short, really good book. Then we have Funny Boy by Shyam Selvadurai. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm really sorry about that. This was another really good one. And then we have Maria Chapdelaine, A Tale of French Canada by Louis Hemont. And these are 3 really good books off my syllabus. And I don't have reviews on these ones necessarily, but I'll try to remember to link like Goodreads reviews or the Goodreads page in the down bar, because I didn't do reviews on these because they were for school. And I usually don't review school books, so that was kind of a lie saying I have reviews on all these books, but for the most part I have reviews on most of these books. Also, this year is different from previous years just because I've actually rated them in numeric order, because I do have a second and like a first and second book that are very prolific, and these were like books that I absolutely adored, and one of them was I expected to be my number 1, but it actually turned out to be my number 2. So these are all kind of rated, but the middle ones could be interchanged and intermingled. So 9 is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this was one that I hadn't heard of going into this year, but reading with Pugs, Jen from Reading with Pugs, she's another YouTuber. She was talking about this book and it sounded very interesting. This was one that I knew was going to like break me, and I really like this author's writing. It's not like, she's not my favorite writer in the land, but I just really like her writing, and this book actually was one I kept going back to and thinking about. And yeah, that's why it made my favorites. I'm not really going to get into a very like plot synopsis heavy, you know, that, because we have a long list to go, and I do have reviews on most of these books, and I'll link the reviews in the down bar in a separate category from the Goodreads pages for the book. So I'll have 2 different areas. So just look out for that. Then number 8 is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm currently reading my 3rd Colleen Hoover book of the year. But this was the second one I read this year. I read November 9, and I'm reading Too Late right now. But this was one that really stuck out for me because not only does it have an important message, but it was a really good story, and I really enjoyed it. And this cover, am I right? It's so beautiful. I just love this cover. Number 8 is Here's to Us by Ellen Hildebrand. Usually I don't have a list about an Ellen Hildebrand book because she does release 1 to 2 books a year. And this is the one she released this June. I really enjoyed this book. If you guys have been keeping up with my videos from last June, I was really sick for a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. I don't know if I posted a video in those 2 weeks. I think maybe the second week I did, but I was really sick. Had to go to the hospital. Really couldn't do much. And this was like one of the books in the box because I had just ordered books. I couldn't open it because I didn't have the strength to open the packages, and also my ears were really sensitive, so I couldn't like just tape anything, like voices. Literally almost any sound you could make was really irritating me and like driving me up the wall. So I couldn't really open this, but then as soon as like I started feeling better, like it took me about half a week to like recuperate. But after I started feeling better, I was reading this and I was really enjoying it. And even though like it was like a really hard time, this book made it better, and I just have really good memories of reading this. And like I feel like Ellen Hildebrand books, that when I have really good memories is when I'm necessarily sick, because when I'm getting over something and then I'm really focusing on this, and I just really enjoyed it. It was a really good book. So this is number 6. Number 6 is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. This is a very popular book, and it's a poetry book, so I don't have a review on this because I wouldn't really know how to write poetry, but eventually when I read more, I'd like to do like a poetry recommendations videos. I really like watching them, but I really want to explore some other authors, and this one's like a really, really popular poetry book. I actually just gave this to my best friend to read, and she really loved it, and I didn't know if I was going to connect too much with this because I have, like, the mixture of people I watch. I try to, like, with BookTube, like, I have my friends that I talk to regularly, that, like, have channels, and then I have people that I don't necessarily talk to, but I try to pick people from, like, different genres as much as, like, not too far out of my comfort zone, but people that read more like general fiction, and then people who read more biographies, like stuff like that. And I had mixed reviews in my feed about whether this book was good or not. Well, not good or not, but like whether they enjoyed it or not. So I was kind of like worried going into it because also it is very hyped up. But I absolutely enjoyed it, and usually I wouldn't put a poetry book on this list because I feel like, you know, there's only so limited like spots on the list because, you know, I'd only had a 10 plus my conflicted award. So I was kind of like unsure whether to put this, but there was really, when it came down to it, no doubt in my mind that this deserved to be on the list. And not that I would really discriminate on my list against like poetry or like a picture book or anything else like that, but when you have limited room and you've read so many novels, it's kind of like, do I want to put this small book on my list? But it definitely deserved its place. Number 5 goes to A Night In with Audrey Hepburn by Lucy Holiday. I read the first 2 books in the series this year. The third book I have yet to read, but it did come out last month, so I haven't gotten to it yet because there's been so many books I've been rereading or trying to read, that kind of thing. But this series I really enjoy. If you're a fan of Sophie Kinsella, I would definitely pick it up. It's a very fast series. It's hilarious. It's cute. The second book put me in quite distress, but I'm hoping the third book, you know, it was good, but like there's some distressing moments if you've read it. And I really enjoyed this, and this was another recommendation. I'm forgetting off somebody's BookTube channel. It was another one that I saw I saw somebody talk about, and it was another kind of BookTube recommendation, and I'm really glad that I read this book. This series, not only do they have this cover, really, like, these covers of the series are the things that really, like, attracted me to read the series, not only from the recommendation, but I'm really happy for that because they're really good books. Number 4 goes to Ross Poldark by Winston Graham. I read this book and the second book, Demelza, in the series this year, but I didn't put Demelza because I didn't have very much room on this list. But I really enjoyed this series. I actually read this as a buddy read with Shannon and Carrie, and I really enjoyed this. I didn't know how much I was going to enjoy this because I do like historical fiction, and yeah, I was unsure. And I really enjoyed this, and we're actually moving on to the third book this upcoming year. I'm not sure, early in the year sometime, and I'm really excited to get into that and read it because I've been really enjoying it. I really love how Winston Graham writes. It's very different from every other writer I've read, the perspectives he uses and stuff like that. Number 3 goes to Funny Girl by Nick Hornby, a recent read of mine that I really did enjoy. I heard a lot of stuff about this. A lot of these books I see are like 2014 releases that were really getting, or 2015 releases that were really getting hyped. But this one had so much press about it. A lot of podcasts I listened to were talking about it, like even just mentioning it. The Social, which is a Canadian talk show, I believe they did a social chapter for this one. And I just heard about it everywhere, and I didn't really pick it up. I hadn't ever read a Nick Hornby book before, but I have a friend who's read, I forget what it's called, but it has Juliet something. And she really liked that. And I picked this one up, and it's kind of like about a TV show and this girl rising to fame in the 1960s. And it was very interesting, and I really did enjoy it. Number 2 is actually the book that I assumed was going to be number 1 because I've been looking forward to this number 2 book since January of 2015. I believe that was when it was released, like just the name of the book, I think, or just even like the Goodreads page was put up. And it's The Amateurs by Sarah Shepard. I love Sarah Shepard's books. I'm a big fan of the Pretty Liars series. If you've watched my channel, you know this. And I absolutely loved this book. It was really, really good, but it didn't quite beat to my #1 place. But #2 is nothing to be, you know, shying away from. I keep forgetting my words today really badly. But loved this book. It's such a good mystery. I have all these reviews on my channel. When I say reviews, most of them are spoiler-free, but this one does have a spoiler-free discussion. But the first part of the video is spoiler-free, and I give you ample warning, just in case you're a little bit wary that I'm going to spoil this. I don't spoil it at all, and I cannot wait for the sequel. #1 goes to The Truth About the Harry Kubert Affair by Joel Dicker. This book was amazing. I've talked about this so much this year, you guys probably think I've, like, read this, like, a million years ago. But I just read this August. It was either late July or early August. But anyway, it was amazing. I can't stop thinking about it. It's so good. My best friend just returned it last night because she borrowed it. She absolutely loved it. It is such a good book, and I'm so glad I found this. This I actually found when I went to the bookstore. Me and my best friend go to the bookstore every year after my birthday. And sorry if you can hear like noise in the background. My whole family's home just because I can hear it all, and it's bothering me. But this book is so good. I actually found this book as a bargain book, and I'm just so happy I looked at, I saw the spine and picked it up, because if I never did, I probably would never heard of this book, because I haven't heard anybody talk about it on BookTube. Like, really, it's not really talked about, and it was like a really popular book in France, and this is a translate copy, so I assume that's probably why, because it's like different areas, and like I don't watch any booktubers, I don't believe, that are from France, because I like know quite a bit of French because I took it all throughout school, and I'm trying to, you know, become bilingual, but I can't watch those booktubers because, you know, I can't really understand fully, which is a shame because, you know, I want to see more. And yes, finally my Conflicted Award. So my Conflicted Award this year goes to The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. This book, like, I love Gillian Flynn's writing. As soon as she releases another book, like even for pre-order, even just giving us a title and no synopsis, I'm going to pre-order it because she's an amazing writer. I love her books. I just eat them up. So many people on BookTube rave as well about her books. And this one, like, I'm conflicted to give it a, like, regular place on my list because it is so small. It's a novella. It's very short. And this one was just, like it was just, like, a little taste of, like, what's to come. And I really want another book from her because she's such a great writer. She really knows how to write those, like, mystery suspense novels. I'd say mystery suspense thriller, kind of. I don't know necessarily how to classify because I get kind of confused my tags in that area. But I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was going to be like, okay. But I finished reading and I was like, more? Like, I really wanted more. This is definitely, even though like it's so little, still phenomenal novella. I usually don't read novellas from authors because usually they're only released as ebooks and I don't really read ebooks. But I'm so happy this was released in like hardcover, or like not hardcover but print, because it was so good. And yes, that's my favorite books of 2016 list. If you don't make videos, you can definitely let me know what your favorites or favorite are. And yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.